Hello everybody and welcome back to Generation Park. Today is a very, very important episode. Not only are we just building another habitat, no, we're building one for the king. The king has returned. Harambe is back with us. He sacrificed himself many years ago for this timeline to endure and to continue. But he's back. It might not be in real life, but he's back. He's with us again. And I cannot wait to build him a true home. This is not going to lead to a horrible, wrongful murder, which I truly believe. I actually have a t-shirt in my wardrobe. It's a Dicks Out for Harambe one, with a photo of him on it. And all jokes aside about like the whole meme and things, I do truly believe that he shouldn't have been killed. That's my personal belief. Say what you want, but I feel like he was wrongfully killed. I feel like there could have been other things done. And I do believe that the parents should be held somewhat responsible, as well as Cincinnati Zoo. Because no one, regardless of it's a grown up, kid, whatever, should not be able to fall into an exhibit regardless of the animal. So there's many people to blame, but I don't think he should have been killed. It's not like he was, beating the child or something like that, But back to the task at hand. I'm trying out something I haven't done. I like to think that I'm going to do a lot of that in this series. It's not just going to be the standard exhibit here, exhibit there kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be exhibits here and exhibits there, but I also want to try out a lot of new things. I want to learn along the way, as I've said before. So this time I want, rather than just having multiple little areas around the habitats and exhibits, on this one I wanted just one particular kind of viewing area, mainly to stop congestion with customers and viewers and things like that. So what I've done here is I've built a little wooden path out, nothing fancy, increased the width a bit so you can fit more people on. And then rather than continue with just a concrete fence, I've gone for only very minorly custom built. It's just some stone and some wood, but just a little fence like that I can then fit glass into. I just thought it'd look a little bit nicer rather than one whole concrete wall with a few little windows in it. So I've gone for that. I'm quite happy with how that looked. The next goal of mine for this exhibit or habitat, I always forget which one's which. I'm going to have to learn that one. But yeah, the next goal for this area, was for me to add more of a null barrier at the back. So once again, rather than it being one massive area just filled with concrete, I like the idea of merging the hill, which has the walkthrough exhibit area thing. I wanted to merge that into this exhibit. So while this is obviously a Planet Zoo series, I also like to try and incorporate some, stuff that actually happens to me in real life. And today, believe me, I've got an absolute banger for you. So I was driving home from work. I work for my dad, and Tuesdays I have to do the driving. It's not far at all, but I have to drive in and drive home and stuff like that. But so on the way home after work, I was just going about my business, listening to music, chatting with my dad. And coming up, you've got, for those of you who live in the UK, you'll know, you've probably got them in America and stuff like that, or France, I don't know, wherever you're from. Over here, we've got these like merge lanes kind of things. So you'll have, I'll just use one I was on for an example. So you got, the left lane was just straight, carry on as you do. But on the right lane eventually would then go into the lane on the left, which then, rather than having two, they merged into just the one. I was on the right lane, so I had to merge in left. I sped up a little bit just because you have to try and make sure there's a gap for you to obviously go into. I got into a nice gap. There was a car in front of me in the lane I had to go into. There was a car in front of me in my current lane, and I'd just gone past this other car, the car in question, which you will hear about now. So, this car then speeds up, literally leaving me about, I don't know, a couple inches or so, like, of safe, like, you know, safe passage in a way. And I thought, what an asshole, you know? Like, who does that? I look up in the mirror after merging in, like, with literally just avoiding crashing into them because of how close they were, and they deliberately sped up. So I looked in my mirror to see, like, I don't know, someone wasn't concentrating and, like, put their hand up to say sorry or something. No, it was this old woman, right? I don't know, probably mid-60s or so. The bitch was looking at me, putting her middle finger up, and I was thinking, what? So I did it back, and she shakes her head, and then puts, you know, the two fingers, I don't know what you call that, but, you know what I mean. Loads of other horrible gestures and signs, so it was going back and forth, back and forth. But I couldn't believe it was just this little old lady in the car. Like, it was quite a sporty car as well. And, yeah, I mean, I was laughing my ass off the whole time just because it's just not expected. But the thing that got me the most, it was just the cheek of it. You've literally tried to stop me from going into this lane that I have to go into, otherwise I'm going to drive into oncoming traffic and I'm going to die and cause a big crash. Shut up. You know, obviously don't want to do. But, yeah, and she tried blaming me for it, obviously, saying, oh, I shouldn't have done what I did, apparently. Nah. I was driving safely. I was in the limit. In case the feds are listening, I was in the limit. Back off. But I couldn't get over it. So I thought to myself, yes, tonight I'm going to record some Planet Zoo. I keep going to call it Zoo Tycoon, but no, Planet Zoo, need to relax, and that I did. But yeah, just for those of you who drive or are learning to drive, stay a bit weary of old ladies or just old people driving. Yeah, they can be a bit boisterous on the roads, that's for sure. But once again, going back to Planet Zoo, as you can see, I've kind of started filling up behind the waterfall, which I'm extremely proud of. I really do like how that looks and how that turned out. I wasn't too sure at first, but after adding all the plants and rocks and stuff like that, I was really happy with it. Yeah, I've just tried beefing up the hill a bit more to make it look a bit more full, which I'll do on the other side as well, if I obviously decide to put another habitat, I'm going to call them habitats, another habitat on the other side, or if I want to just create a nice little walk area. I'm not too sure yet exactly what I'm going to do. I might even add a restaurant, which would be quite cool. Let me know which one you'd like. But yep, so rather than just having kind of a flat waterfall, I wanted to add a few rocks kind of sticking out from inside of it, just to give it a little bit more uneven naturalness, because nothing's that even in the natural world. I don't care what the maths teachers say about all their lines and shit like that, nothing's even. So tried going for stuff like that, and like I said, beefing up the hill. Main goal was to have the kind of backdrop of the habitat being like the, other than obviously the gorillas, being the kind of big star kind of thing of the habitat, just because of how nice it looks. That's what I was kind of going for, whereas I wanted the front to be quite clear, so that whole little walkway thing that I've made wasn't just staring into leaves and rocks and things like that. But yeah, that was the overall goal for this side of it. One thing I've tried doing a lot more of with this habitat is using vines and the like dead roots kind of things. I think that's what they are, like dead roots, but I've tried incorporating them into the design of this a lot more. Happy with how that looks. I'm sure there's many other ways I can use them. I'm definitely going to try and pick up on that in the future. But just going back to a bit I missed at the start of the video, you might have seen me add that giant rock wall. Just as an example, stuff like that I create off camera and then group it all and then save it as a blueprint. So if you want to see me build all that stuff on like YouTube Shorts, let's say, obviously speed it right up, and then have them come out throughout the week, not on any particular day, just as and when I do them. Let me know 100% and I'll be happy to do them. Whilst we're on the topic of other videos, hopefully Thursday I should be, or at least this Thursday and next Thursday, I'm going to be buying Path of the Titans. I'm sure a few of you know what that game is. It's basically a open world dinosaur survival from what I gather. I've wanted it for quite a while, but like I said before, I've only just gotten back into PC gaming, and I've got a bit of money coming in from my job, so I'm going to be buying that. I'm going to be recording that as well, and the first episode of that, like I haven't got a date for it yet, but the first episode of that will be the very, very first time I ever load up the game. I won't have any previous playing around on it. It's going to be completely raw, completely just brand new. It's going to be live commentary rather than like this, where I do the video separately and then speak over it using a separate program. So yeah, let me know if you want that one as well, and I will be posting dates and stuff like that soon. But that's just to kind of give you an overall view of what's coming out. Also, I'm going to be recording Ark. I still need to ask Ben if he's interested in that. Just a bit difficult with work schedules at the moment because he works late shifts some weeks, early shifts other weeks, so it varies and it's a bit all over the place. So, but when we hop back on Discord or something like that eventually, we'll try and sort something like that out. But yeah, that's kind of what's coming up with the channel in the coming months, let's say. I think summer should be a good time to say for all the series to be out and about with a few episodes each. I really need to stop going off topic here, but once again, back to Planet Zoo. I'm now kind of going on to adding climbing frames and stuff like that, but rather than adding big high up climbing frames, just because I'm 99% sure gorillas are predominantly ground dwelling apes rather than arboreal, so up in the trees and stuff. Don't get me wrong, they might have a little play around, but you hardly ever see them on the documentaries swinging around in the trees, if not ever. So instead, what I've tried to do is incorporate one main climbing frame into a bunch of rocks, so that way they're kind of climbing on the rocks rather than thin bits of wood up in the sky. And if you see just by the water as well, I've added a small climbing, there's more of like a little sitting platform. I just thought it would look nice. It'd be the kind of place humans would go and chill. Not that humans are ever going in this exhibit, we have no murders in this zoo, but it's the kind of place anyone would want to go chill really. It's just pretty peaceful by the waterfall overlooking the water. So yeah, that was kind of what I'm aiming for with the climbing structures. I just don't think at all a big high up climbing frame would suit this habitat whatsoever, so I've kind of avoided that completely. It took me a little while to get a kind of frame that I was happy with the ramp going up, but I got there in the end. I mostly covered it up with rocks and then just added a little support beam going under. But now it was time to move on to the hard shelter. I didn't want a big internal building. I kind of wanted something that was merging into the cliff. So I went for, obviously I'm not going to have some Arctic things, some Brazilian, South American thing. So I went for the African shelter rather than building my own, just because my imagination sucks and I do struggle when it comes to building the actual kind of building side of things rather than the habitats or exhibits and things like that. But yeah, I had to change some water, had to change a few little things to get it in, and finally got it in. Looks pretty cool. Got the gorillas on order, they're on their way, the king is coming. And whilst we wait for that, it was time to just add a little bit of foliage along the outside of the walkway area, just because I didn't want a big patch of grass. I kept with the theme of African rainforest, using the kind of plants that you'd find there, or at least the ones they say you will. I ain't got a clue about plants. And I didn't want to overfill it. Obviously I've gone for a lot of bushes, but I didn't want to overfill it to the point where it just looked rank and fake. I wanted to put all the bushes on the floor to add a jungly effect, but I didn't want to put too many trees in there. Once again, gone with some roots. Those are my favourite ones. I just think they look really cool and they fit that rock really well in particular. Of course it had to be done. The Harambe statue is there. It has to be done. It would be wrong not to put it on that rock. It was my plan from the very first second I put that rock down. Big flat surface like that and needed a big fat gorilla statue. We've done it, we've placed it down. I'm very happy with that. Pretty much done with this kind of grassy, rainforesty section now. Moving on to the actual paths, just adding a few benches, bins and donation boxes. Only added one donation box in the end, just because obviously I'm in Sandbox. I'll add a few more dotted around the zoo, but I don't like crowding up the walkway area like that with loads of donation boxes as well as the bins. To be fair, I do need to expand on the kind of guest food court area. I'm considering next episode to be a food court, like I might build a little platformy area just off the side, African themed, and just have some food places, some drink places, little stands basically. That's what I'm thinking. Once again, let me know in the comments if that sounds any good to you. If not, I'm more than happy to do it off camera, just because, you know, most people are here to see the animals. Who wouldn't be here to see the animals? And here we go. They've finally arrived. He's here. He's finally back. I've been so excited for this moment. Even though I've already played this, it's just great to see him. Look at him just leaping from rock to rock. Absolutely. Look. And the guests come in their numbers and their flocks. There are thousands. All to see him. They know he's finally back and the world is at peace once more. But yeah, I'd just like to say thank you very much, guys, because we're pretty much at the end here. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I've actually had a lot of fun making this exhibit. I feel like it's a big upgrade compared to normal. But guys, thank you very much for watching, and as always, you've been amazing. Adios.